Hey friends, it's Tracey from Tea Time with Tracey and Violet. Violet's actually down here on the floor. I'm just at the computer about to edit this video, and I can't find the beginning clip of this reading vlog, so I'm just gonna redo it. I left the book downstairs, but the book I wanted to talk to you about and read along with you, in the sense just checking in every once in a while, is called The Keeper by Sarah Langan. I read her first book, The Missing, and I do have a video of that. I'll put it down below, of my thoughts on that one. I really enjoyed it. Spoiler. And apparently The Missing goes along with this book, but you certainly don't have to read the first book to read the second book, because I didn't. And it just involves the same kind of area. So anyways, I'm just going to end it there and go on with the pre-recorded parts. But yeah, The Keeper by Sarah Langan. It's about Bedford is where it's called, in Maine, and it's this little town that ran off of a pulp mill that shut down, and the story goes on from there. So enjoy. Oh, sorry. My husband was just coming out. He's going to barbecue steak and sausages. He's like, should I do them all? I'm like, yes, just do them all. Anyways, yeah, Susan, I forget what I was saying, but it's a little tiny town, and Susan's kind of like a wayward person. It explains when she was young, and she is very beautiful. She's petite, like she's very small and pretty and stuff, but she has a super mean streak. Like, she grew up in a nice family home, but when she reached a certain age, she bolted. She still stayed in the town, but she was just jumping from here and there and everywhere, so if you know what I'm saying. As she was getting older, I mean, she's still not super old, but as she was getting older over the next couple of years, she got more and more disheveled looking. And she's living in a really shabby little thing. We don't ever see into the mind of Susan at all. It's just talking about her. And Susan has a younger sister. I can't think of her name right off, but Susan's younger sister, it goes into her life and her mother. Susan and Liz, I think her name is. Yeah, their father had passed away years ago. And Liz, on her way home from school one day, she's at her father's gravesite, kind of mad at him, like, in 2 months I'll be graduating school and I'll be going off to college and I'm never coming back to this town again. Why would you leave us like this? While she's standing there, Susan, who's a mess, and she hasn't spoke to her family in years, she doesn't speak to anybody now, she just smiles this wicked evil grin if anybody ever sees her, is standing on the side of the cemetery, and the cemetery's surrounded by these iron fences, and she has her face right up to the things, and she has this face like that. She has blood coming down, and blood. And of course, Liz, anytime Liz tried to say anything to her sister in passing, her sister Susan never acknowledged her. But now her sister Susan is like pointing over here, like to come over here. So Liz is like, she's scared. It's evening time. It's cold. It's snowy. This is like just before spring, okay? So it's cold, it's snowy, and, go hop the fence kind of thing and go see what your sister wants. And it goes from there. Now, another aspect a person you kind of follow in this is a school teacher who is a high school teacher of seniors in this dwindling little hole-in-the-wall town that's closing down. Teenagers that it's almost the end of the school year, so nobody gives a flying flip-flop about what the assignments are or what they're talking about in school. And he's a closeted alcoholic. He has a thermos of alcohol in his desk drawer, and as soon as the kids go, he takes a whiff off of that. Another person is the mother of Susan and Liz, who she must have some sort of trauma herself, because since Susan left and her husband died, she's not the greatest mother that I can see. She's not physically abusive, but she's just it's just scratched the surface, so I can't say for sure. But anyways, this book, I like how The Missing did this. It takes glimpses into the lives of a few different characters that are all in this town that don't really link up. Well, they might in this. They might cross paths in a certain way down the road, but they all have their own things going on. And yeah. Anyways, I'm starting this book. I just wanted to do kind of a reading vlog. I'm having a cup of tea by the fire. Why not? Some believe Bedford, Maine, this is where it is cursed. Its bloody past, endless rain, and general decay portrays a hopeless future. With the death of its paper mill, Bedford's residents find themselves with way too much time to dwell on thoughts of Susan Marley. Yes, everybody seems to be dreaming of this Susan Marley, like she's in her dreams. Horrible dreams, but everybody has a shared, maybe not the same dream, but Susan's in there in their terrible dreams. Once the local beauty, now the local whore. Silently prowling the muddy streets, she watches the shadows, waiting for something. Some are able to leave Bedford, but those who are trapped will soon know the fullest and most terrible meaning of nightmare, and soon you will too. Yeah, so I can't really say. The cover's kind of cool though. Looks like shattered glass and somebody screaming their face off. So I will fill you in. I'm on page 68, 69, 10:51 in the morning. I do got stuff to do today, but my goal today would be to at least get to page 100, if not to page 200, really. So this is the kind of book I could sit down and read the whole thing, but it's just, I got stuff to do. So anyways, I'll be back and I'll check in after. All right, friends. Well, I've read up to page 100. I'm just outside waiting for the kids to get home on the bus. So a few things have changed. I got to know a couple more of the characters a little more. Yeah. And this is certainly an adult book. Like, I really appreciate these kind of stories that they don't shy away from real life, like drinking and stuff, just for coping mechanisms. Not that it shouldn't be normal, but in real life, some people do that. And the Susan Marley, she's only 23 years old, so she left when she was really young and just went crazier and crazier and all that sort of thing. So it touched a little bit more on her. And yeah, it's quite dark. So I'm enjoying it. Jack Ketchum has a blurb on the front of this. It says, a smart, brand new take on a haunted house story, and it's a dilly, crammed with startling images and framed by a sense of overwhelming dread. It's really hard to believe this is a first novel. Yes, this is a first novel of Sarah's. And yeah, this is kind of a dreadful kind of story, just because you get the whole sense of a town. Well, there's towns all over Canada, all over the States, all over everywhere, I'm sure, that depended on one industry. And when that was taken away for whatever reason, whether it's, money, obviously, it's cheaper to go somewhere else, or whatever, resources dwindled, but that was what this town was made on for generations. And that's gone. And no chance of subsidy or anything, any other prospects of coming into that area. It's just dreadful. Like, you feel for this town. And some people, are going to be able to get out because they can kind of afford to get out. But a lot of people can't. People live paycheck to paycheck and through the generations. So anyways, I like how it stirs those feelings in me. It's not like ridiculous, because that happens. Now, not a whole lot of not really any paranormal or supernatural things have happened yet, except for everybody's dreaming of this Susan Marley. Different horrible dreams, but they seem like real when they wake up. They're like shook about it. But yeah, that's the only thing that's a little off right now, but I'm enjoying it as much as I enjoyed the missing. I'm just looking forward to, I'm hoping that it keeps up this way. So
like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
well, hey friends, it's the next day. I'm outside in my apron. Yeah, I am. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm just outside taking a break. There's Violet. It's time for the kids to come home in about 15 minutes, but I've been busy prepping for a big fat Thanksgiving that I'm having this weekend. So, what did I do today? I sauteed up some vegetables, took the turkey and hams out to defrost, doing a bit of cleaning, all that's just a bunch of stuff. Made some cornbread, went grocery shopping. Long story short, I haven't sat down to read this at all today, which is driving me crazy because I can't wait to get back to it, but I'm going to read for a little bit. I got up to page, what page number? 192. So I almost made it to 200 last night, but I went to bed. So yeah, things are changing a bit. It's a little different than the book 2 to this, or whatever. It's following, right now it's following along with Susan's sister Liz and her mother, and another couple of characters. I think his name's Paul, who was that alcoholic teacher, and another woman who's like a 6-foot tall redhead who is a single mom of a 9-year-old boy, I think. And apparently her name's Georgia. Georgia and Paul know each other somehow, and Paul knew Susan somehow, and anyways, they're all connected in one way or another. So it's starting to come bit by bit together, like crossing paths. Not intimately in the sense that they don't know exactly what's going on in each other's lives, but you can see how this small community is all connected. So I'm enjoying that aspect of it, and it's still giving me that sense of dread and like just nowheres to go kind of thing. But anyways, I'm gonna continue reading. It's gonna be the rest of my day is gonna be super busy. I won't get much reading done today, maybe this evening, but I plan on watching a Thanksgiving movie, Home for the Holidays. So yeah, we'll see about that. But so far so good. I am enjoying this. It's the kind of pace, the kind of style of book that I seem to really gravitate to when I find one. Like, I wish I knew a whole bunch of books that are like this, but I do have another book of hers, Audrey's Door. I think that's what it's called. I'm gonna read that at some point. So anyways, I'll be back. Well, hey friends, it's been a few days. I did finish the book Keeper yesterday. It took me a little while because I had been busy all weekend, all Thanksgiving weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Today is Wednesday after the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. But it really didn't take me very long to read this. I had to put it down while I was, yeah, we had a big fat Thanksgiving. I will put a link to our big fat Thanksgiving video if you do want to see it over on my other channel. This channel is all about books, but just if you're curious to see what the heck went on, you'll understand why I didn't finish this book quite as fast as I would have liked to, because I didn't get bored with this book at all. I forget where I left off talking to you about this book. But I know I had mentioned this is book one. The second book to this is called The Missing, and I do have a video of that, me talking about that book. If I remember, I'll put that down below too. Anyways, this book is very similar to the Missing book in the premise that it follows multiple people in this small little town of Bedford, Maine. And I know I had went on about how this town was dying out. There was a pulp mill that had been there for generations, and eventually it shut down. And that's what this town was kind of built around. So everybody that worked there pretty much lived in the town. And since it shut down, you know, everything kind of went bust. There was a lot of pollution and toxicity. And then the people of this little town. I really enjoyed this book. Not scary in regards to, like, it didn't scare the pants off me. It's eerie. I'm starting to hone what I like in a horror story. Like, this is horror. This is absolutely horror. There is killing and death in this, surprising out of the blue things. There's some grotesque things in this, but this whole town is almost like isolated at the springtime, in the sense that there's torrential rains. So the roads going in and out of this town are completely severed because the rain is so heavy it floods, and everybody's kind of just stuck there. And then the pollution from this pulp mill, everything, like, there's sulfur in the air. There's the water isn't that good to drink. There's, like, people and families, generational black lungs and coughing up blackness in their phlegm and things like that. But something even goes deeper. This town that has been so ravaged, it's like a sickness in this town. And the name The Keeper comes to make sense at the end of this book. It's almost like all of the bad in this town, whether it's somebody that's off whackers, crackers, lunatic, that's not really hurting anybody, or a loving family with a dark secret, or there's people that are abused and things. All these dark secrets all feed this sickness in this town, and it becomes almost paranormal. Well, not almost paranormal. These people in this town dream about this Susan Marley. Susan, right? Susan. So, yeah. Susan Marley, 23 years old, left home when she was 17, 18. She went a little crazy, didn't talk to anybody. Her younger sister, Liz, is another character in this, and their mother, Mary. Their father's out of the picture, who was a sick son of a gun at some point. He's deceased, which you find this right out. The alcoholic school teacher has kind of a twisted relationship with one of his students. The sheriff, his wife, Violet, don't do that. She's chewing on my exercise bike pedal. Anyways, I really enjoyed this because you follow along all of these people in this little wretched town that you feel sorry for the town, because I know myself, I live in a small little village. I grew up in a small little town. My village that I live in now is just neighboring the little town that I grew up in. The town that I grew up in, its main industry is like fishing, scallop fishing, lobster, haddock, things like that. If that was away and the town was completely isolated, it would slowly die out. And that's what's happening in this book. But the people that do remain are haunted. Everybody's haunted. And knowing what happens in the second book, you can read the second book before even reading this. Like, they don't really coincide, they don't follow, but near the end of the book, you can tell the leader of this sickness has control over the majority of the people that are left. Their eyes look different, and they all stop at one time and stare at one specific person. They're controlled by this sickness, and that's the only way to put it. It's a haunting kind of story. It's not scary in the sense, it's not a ghost story. I don't know, I haven't read a book that really shook me, but I really enjoyed this book. I would recommend this book. I think I liked The Missing Book more than this book, but I really enjoyed this book. And this apparently was her very first novel. I can't remember if I read the back of this, so I'll read it now. And if I did read it before, I'll cut it out. Anyways, I don't want to give it away, but I like how the story starts. It encompasses more than just two people or more than just one area. It's a whole town, and you get different pockets of this town, and it all kind of converges into one shared nightmare at the end of it. Because yeah, it is quite the nightmare. There's a lot of death, there's quite a bit of gruesome in this, and a lot of mental, psychological horror in this too. So anyways, that's all I'll say about this. I'm not even having tea right now. I've been busy doing stuff. I'm having water out of a wine glass because I'm fancy like that. And I don't think a video of mine went up last night, so I thought I better start talking about this book before I get too far away from it. I did start another book just a little while ago, actually. You might have heard of it, maybe not, but The Resurrectionist. I really just started it. I'm on page 69, so that'll be another video in the near future. But anyways, I have The Missing, The Keeper, and then I have Audrey's Door, I think. I think that's what it's called, which doesn't have to do with these two stories. But so far, I'm really digging her writing style, her storytelling, and I think those are the only 3 books she has. So I will read her 3rd book. Not right now, but I do have it. Bought it secondhand, and I can't wait to read it. But I have lots of other books to get to first. Anyways, yeah, so with that, I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose. But if not, that's okay too. I still love ya. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, all right, guys. Well, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning. And I might see you tomorrow. Bye. Bloop.